All right, back at it again. Let's see. It's been a long time, man. Feels like it. It's been like, hold up. Okay, it's been a while, and back in town, back in the lab. It's been what, like 6 days? Yeah, 6 days since the last time I got a workout in. I was out of town, my buddy's wedding. Go check out the video that I recorded, talk about that experience. And I will have a vlog from the wedding coming out soon, so check that out as well. But it's back to handstands. It's Wednesday, and I need to get it back in because I really haven't done anything outside of just the traveling over the last. Yeah, I got back yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, I got back last night after leaving on Friday. So not a lot of activity, but it's time to get back to work. We out here. The gains are not waiting for me, so I got to go get them. Start with a little handstands, little jumping jack, warm up, and we'll get it going. All right. Adjust this camera a little bit. Got a lot of floor action going on. Can afford to pan up a little bit, so I'm not squatting all the way down in here. But here's the circuit. We got slow downs. We got pancake stretch, hip flexors, other leg stretches. I'm going to introduce a new one for the quad to try to enhance that a little bit more. We got the planche, which we'll be skipping for now, but the bars are over on that side of the gym, so we'll get those later. The handstand lean, the handstand for time, and then wrist flexibility, strength training. We'll be getting that as well. All right, slow down. Here we go. Stay down in this straddle. Feel that stretch. That was a pretty bad rep. It was weak. Should do a few push-ups to warm up the shoulders. That's good. Just get warm. We're just starting out here. I could definitely put that down a little bit. Check the form. Check the form. Write this down here too. Okay, pancake stretch. So get those hammies feeling nice. I was doing some of these in the airport yesterday. Watching a movie while sitting in the terminal. Then you got to make the most of it. That's the one thing that's hard about traveling, because if you're going through plane or through airports, you end up sitting for the whole time you're on the plane, for the most part, unless you got to get people to move out the way to use the bathroom. And then you get off the plane, you go to your terminal, and you sit down again to wait to board the plane, where you'll get up and go sit back down on the plane for however many hours. So you don't get a lot of activity, but you have to make it. So airports are nice because generally you have a lot of downtime. So you can walk around a bit, you can stretch, you have the space to do things you can't do on a plane. So you might as well take advantage of those moments. So when you sit down, you aren't just sitting down for the next couple hours, not having done anything and all cold, but you're actually warmed up and can relax a little bit more. I don't know about you, but it's hard to sit down for a long time if I haven't stretched or been active. It's really difficult for me to do that. So I have to stay loose. It was cool because what airport was that? I think Detroit. The airport in Detroit. The terminal that I was in, was it A terminal? Terminal A. It was actually a mile in length from one end to the other. So I said, well, shoot, I'm here for a few hours. Let me go get a walk in. And it was great. I walked all the way down and back. And it wasn't until I got the other end when I decided to actually track the mile. And of course, I guess because it was in the airport, I didn't have connection. Strava was trying to tell me I didn't go anywhere. But I was like, whatever, man. I got the proof right here. I took a screenshot or a picture of my watch too to prove it. Stay loose, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. Now I am back in the office working out for today. And earlier today, I actually did some of these stretches while I was at my desk upstairs. So my legs do feel a little bit loose coming in, which is nice. Like I said, it's hard for me to sit still for 8 hours. So being at the desk all day, it's just difficult. Got to mix it up. I don't know how many tech offices you go into where there's a dude sitting on the floor stretching, but gotta do what you gotta do, baby. Gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so the first split rep is not feeling too bad. But now we're gonna go to the one for quad. You need the wall for this. This one can be painful, so be careful. And I can't even do it right, but it's the best I can do, which also happens to showcase how inflexible my quads are. So you try this one too and see how it feels. Essentially, you gotta get your knee all the way back up against the wall. So your foot's straight up like this. And then if you can get your foot up and push back, you'll feel that stretch all the way through that. Don't overdo it. This position is a little uncomfortable, to be honest, but it shows a lack of flexibility. So it's something that I can benefit from. And again, this is one of those moments where I know, especially for guys, we don't like stretching because we don't like the feeling or the appearance of being weak. But you can't get any better at these things if you never do them. And I know it doesn't have the macho look like learning to do weights does, but I can guarantee you, your body will feel better and everything else you do will improve as a result of the flexibility. So get loose. And we'll come back to that. That's going to be real nice after 4 sets or 5 sets of that. Let's see what we got next. That's the slow pancake. Hip flexors always, man. Forget those flexors. We'll get the hip flexors, then we'll do the handstand lean. That's actually a good one to do. Oh, that's a good one to do after the quad stretch against the wall. It's a little more loose, but also a little bit more active. So the joint tried to cramp up on me there. Must be done. Must be done. And then this one, fan favorite for the hips. Guys, I'm going to tell you every time, do not strain your groin because you weren't willing to do this stretch. If you're sprinting, running, anything that needs that fast transfer, requires the fast twitch, you want to be loose through the hips. So take advantage, get low, make it happen. Handstand lean. Let's get it. Okay, getting a little resistance there. Eventually, if we can get those legs up, I'm watching the replay right now. If we can get those legs up, I need to get the hips up higher too. But that lean, you don't want to generate momentum with your legs to lean up from that position, but you want to lean in and be able to support it down through your wrists. I did feel a little bit stronger there, but I need to lean and rest in that position a little bit more. That's what's going to build up the strength and the comfortability of my hands in that position. All right, handstand for time. Goal is a minute. And the last time I did this, if you remember, I was selling myself short by coming down too soon. I was staying up for about 40 seconds in my first 3 reps and then realized I had more in the tank, pushed it the last 2 and made it through the full minute. So the goal this time is not to get all 5 baby steps, but if I can get 3 of these sets for at least a full minute, I'll be happy. We'll keep building from there. All right, let's do this thing. There it is. Yes. First one down. I'll take it. Dismount wasn't pretty, but I don't care. Building the strength and getting more comfortable being up there longer. All right. Now for wrists, we had 8 before. I'm adding one more into the circuit here. I don't know if there's going to be a such thing as doing too much instead of what am I trying to say? I don't know if there's going to be such a thing as doing too much when it comes to the variety of wrist strengthening workouts. Obviously, you can overdo it if you push the exercise too hard. But in terms of variety, if there's different ways that you can activate different parts of it, it's all going to help. It's like doing multiple workouts for the same muscle group. You don't just do a bench press and that's it. You do a lot of other stuff too. But the other one I'm going to add is this circle. And once again, shout out to Gymnastics Method. I was on Instagram and saw him doing this one. And this is the one. Big circles around your wrists. I can hear my wrist popping a little bit through that circle, which shows that I need it. But for all the other stretches that we do with the wrists, this is one where you're literally getting 360 degrees of that muscle. Every angle that it could push and have some resistance on, you're hitting it. All right, so that's 1. 2. Palms down. 3, palms up. 'I feel that tension here too. Gymnastics Method was actually doing push-ups on the backs of his palms like this. And I was like, man, just being in this position is painful. But it's painful because I'm weak there. So nothing wrong with realizing that, exposing it, and then coming back to be stronger there. All right, wrist reverse is now number 4. Nice and easy here. 5 is dorsal. Oh shoot, my elbows are ashy. 6, fingertip push-up. You might have heard that popping through the mic. These are the ones I really need more strength work with. My wrist is sore through this position. Do about 10 to 12 of these. Switch to fingertip push-ups, same thing. Remember that your knees, if they're closer to your hands, it's easier. You back up, it's harder. But when you back up, make sure that your shoulders are out over your hands. That's the real mark of the difficulty. You'll feel it, I promise. Wrist rockers is 8. And this one is 9. I can count. I promise. The It's hard to see, but open up your palm, let your wrist go down, and let the clenching of the fist and the tightening of it through your forearm be what raises your wrist up off the ground. You should be able to see it flex in this part down here. The tension. Both ways. Okay. So that's one round. Got 4 to go. Some good stuff. Put the planche down here at the end. Planche tucks. Incoming. Hey, thanks for y'all for showing up and joining the stream. Let's take a minute and a half here. We'll jump back into the next set. Like, subscribe, share. Let people know what we're doing, man. We grow together. So we out here. I'm going to share what I know. You can have it. I don't have any programs. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to sell, but if you have questions, if you're watching, you have questions about different movements, it can be body weight stuff. It can be stuff with the weights. It can be about cardio and running too. Doesn't matter. Drop it in the comments. We'll talk about it. 1 minute. And yeah, upper body, especially the wrists, feeling nice, tight. I'm trying to get those barrel forearms. I had a friend on my first gymnastics team. His forearms were so jacked. He walked around like this. It's like his arms would be at his side, but his forearms would just be popping out. They didn't go this way. They were like this. I used to think it was the funniest thing, but when you saw this dude do gymnastics, you understood it. He was one of the best bases for holding hand-to-hands. That's holding someone else doing a hand-to-hand, doing a handstand in your hands. Absolutely incredible. And I'm pretty sure he did that move while mounted on top of somebody else. So he didn't need to rely on moving around and all that to keep the balance. He was so strong and controlled through his wrists and his forearms that even if his legs were stationary, he could control exactly where that thing was going to go. So that's the goal. All right, there's a minute 30. Round 2. Let's go. Let's try to get a little more over the hips this time. Yep. That's it. The control. Stretch here. This is one of the worst ones, dudes. I know, but you got this. Hear my voice change. Middle split, man. All right. Pancake. Now, this stretch is definitely one of the more uncomfortable ones. Like I said, if you don't stretch a lot, this is where you're going to feel it. Right in those ligaments and tendons under your knees is brutal. But a good friend of mine, one of the gymnastics team's captains, she was on, I think, the last stream that I did in here. But she said, if you get in this position while watching TV or while doing something, even if it's on your computer, just sitting like this, you can get more used to it, get a passive stretch while you're doing something else. And I think that's really helpful because there are a lot of times, going back to what I said earlier in the video, there are a lot of times when we do things where we could be active, but we're just sitting around. So look for those opportunities to mix it up. And you can end up having yourself feel better sooner than you know. QL stretch. This one's still been tight for me for a little bit. So the flexibility and intention with stretching has really helped. But I also, and I hope it'll be here tomorrow, I ordered a new roller. I had one that was 24 inches, so a couple feet long. You could lay back on it and rotate from side to side without ending up on the corner, which was really nice. And somebody stole that one. So I got another one, but this time 36 inches, 3 feet. So I'm looking forward to being able to stretch even better with that and apply the benefit of the roller over the entire body and more of the muscles. It's easier with the longer roller just because if it's too small, you can't get the right angle. Sit on that one a little bit. That's good. Oh, hip flexors. Hip flexors, man. Doing it reverse this time. Yeah, right hip getting tight, yo. All right. Quad. Oh, quad. Doing them in reverse order this time. Did the flexor first, then the quad, and then I'm going to do the split stretch. Because you generally don't think about the flexibility of the quad. Most people are hurting in their hamstrings when they do the splits, but your back leg needs the flexibility and the strength through your quad if you're going to get down into the split. So this is probably, I'm going to see how it feels this time going into it, but I'll probably end up continuing to do them in this order if I feel that it gets me a better stretch down into the split. Okay. Another reason that it's going to be really good working out my legs, especially the flexibility so much, is because I have a marathon coming up in a few months. I will not be cramping. I'll not be getting sore. None of that. I need to check with my buddy because usually Thursdays are run days, so that might be tomorrow if the timing works out. If not, I might have to do a David Goggins and wake up and do it in the morning. And to be honest, that's what I should be doing anyway, because since it's like 80 degrees all the time up here, I need to take advantage of the coolness of the day to get my run in. It's going to have to be done. To be honest, I am slacking a little bit on my training for the marathon. And it sucks because I know that I'm doing it because having done a marathon before, I know what the distance feels like and I know I'm capable of doing it. So there's no doubt in my mind that I'll finish training or not. But if I want to finish well and feel good while doing it, then I need to stretch and prep and actually run. All right. That's the slow down, pancake, flex, quad, the legs. Let's go handstand lean. All right, let's get it. Oh, what's that? I feel something in my wrist. Doesn't like it. There it is. Oh, run that back, run that back, run that back. Get those hips up and just sit on that weight. Yes. For just, I swear, it's like I'm watching the tape back. It's barely a second, but it feels like so long when you're there. But the thing is, those are the small gains. That's what it's going to take. I have to do this over and over and over again until that second becomes 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But it's only through doing this and looking like I'm not doing much at all that I'm going to get to the goal and actually be able to hold this thing for as long as I want to. So it must be done. All right. Second attempt, handstand on the wall. First time, I was able to get it for the minute. 4 more reps to go. So at least 2 of the next 4 I need to get for the full minute. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous because I felt a little bit of strain in my wrist doing the lean. But we're gonna give it a go. If it gets too crazy, I'm just gonna come down. I'll do what I can. But this is why we train. That's why we train, man. That's why we train. Let's get this timer ready. Game time. Let's go. That's 2 for 2. I try to keep track by counting. And the form is not that bad either. That's good. It's better than I thought it was. I'll take it, I'll take it, I'll take it. So, yeah, and I didn't really feel the wrist, any stress there either. So I'll take that. But yeah, that's 2 for 2 with 3 more reps to get 1 more full. So far, so good. Excuse me. We're going to keep taking it slow. Bring around the rosy here.
the pointer was to make as wide a circle as you can.
And I'm doing 5 to the left and 5 to the right.
Okay. Palms down. Now, my tendency is normally to do this without my fingers flexed, but I think you can really simulate the handstand when your fingers are flexed. You'll be very pressed to see somebody doing an actual handstand with their fingers completely flat, although it can be done. But more often than not, I see people with their fingers kind of bent a little bit because that's where you're controlling the tension, pushing to send your feet backwards and relaxing to send it forward. And while you can do the same thing when your hands are flat, maybe it's just because of the stage I'm at right now, it feels like I don't have as much control. But it does seem like you have more control there when your fingers are bent. All right, palms up. And with this one especially, I just need to get my shoulders over and lean into that because it's the stretch as much as it is my wrist being able to hold my weight. Let's put a little pressure on them bad boys. Wrist reverse. Dorsal. The most awkward of all of these for sure. And the one that exposes these ashy elbows. Fingertip push up. Got more fingers trying to pop out here. Slow and control for this one because, at least for me, this is the one that hurts my wrist the most. So I'm going to try to keep it simple and not push too quickly through that movement. Let's try to focus the mind on what the body is doing. All right, fingertips, same thing. It's going to be a slow build up to get really comfortable here. Wrist rockers. And really, any stretch that you want to be good should be done slowly and with intention. Focus on your breathing, focus on the movement, actually feel what's getting stretched. It really sucks to get hurt doing a stretch when that's supposed to be the thing to prevent injury and to set you up for more longevity. All right. And my favorite, psych. Really focus on that forearm here. Don't just lift it up with your shoulder. Let the forearm do the lifting. Nice. All right. Give it a couple minutes, minute and a half. We'll jump back in for set number 3. Making good progress. Right now, total time of the workout is at 41 minutes, which means notwithstanding the jumping jacks, each set going through is taking about, 15 to 18? So it's some good quality time with the stretches. And having spent at least 2 minutes so far actually in the full handstand up against the wall. There's a lot of good work, a lot of good reps going on to get loose and strong, which is the goal. Get some water. Because we're trying to be unstoppable, like the shirt says, circa 2016. It's an OG. Hey, shout out. Shout out to the viewers on Twitch. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. We out here. We out here for the people, man. We out here for the people. All right, there's a minute and a half. I need to respond to a text real quick, and then I'll get to this slow down. Set number 3. Let's go. Okay. We back. Set number 3. Let's go. Slow down. Feel that control. Oh, had to bail. Felt my wrist in that one. Gotta take it easy. The form started out good too. I actually had a point where I was balancing off the wall, but it came down too fast. That's all right. I'll take it easy on that one moving forward. But we're gonna keep the stretching going. I'm gonna get it. That's why you gotta stick with it, man. I had a feeling it was gonna throw me off, even missing a couple days. Probably mostly because I gained a few pounds though. So my wrist had to deal with that. really close in these stretches to getting my chest all the way down to my leg, which is the goal. Sometimes I'll end up catching my eye socket on my knee, which means I'm close. This side's a little tighter because it requires the stretching of my lower right back. But there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have the splits by the end of this year. Just you watch. Nobody's gonna see it coming either. Hip flexors. Before I get up, before I forget again. Excuse me. Yes, sir. That joint keep wanting to cramp. The more I focus on these hip flexors, I'm feeling that lower part of my core kind of going towards the obliques that are starting to activate. So they're working together now, which hopefully will mean less stress on my actual quads and less cramping on them too. All right, quads over here. So it's kind of wild. My brother, he was playing basketball recently. He joined a city league, and that's a pretty big deal for him because he had an accident playing softball where he ran into another outfielder, broke his leg. It like smashed knees and just in the right spot and shattered. And for the better part of the last handful of years, he had a rod in his leg, so wasn't really able to run, jump, do things like that. And so he's playing in this league and ends up diving for a loose ball for the love of the game and kind of tweaks his shoulder a little bit. He ends up hitting me up, knowing that I messed up my shoulders a couple times over the last few years. And it was really cool being able to share with him some of the things that I know to help with his longevity and recovery process, and even strengthening process when it comes to getting better at this stage. He's a couple years younger than me, about a year and a half younger than me, but he's married, he's got a couple kids. And so life is different when you're that busy, in addition to what he does for a living, which keeps him really busy. But it was nice to be able to connect on something like that where, I mean, outside of when we were dominating on the basketball team in high school and in college together, I mean, since then, we haven't done much physically together. So it was nice to connect and be able to share a little something and join in on the struggle of recovery together. And I use that to say, like, if you're feeling an injury, if you're hurt, see who you can connect with to help you get through it. If you know people around you in your circles are injured and dealing with stuff, reach out. See how you can be a positive impact for them. You never know, man. You never know the blessing that you could receive from somebody else reaching out. You never know the blessing you could be for someone else by reaching out. It goes both ways. So look for those opportunities. Good stuff. That's the pancake, the flex, the quad, the legs. Get them all handstand lean again. All right. Why can't I see anything? Did this junk freeze up? What's going on? Refresh that joint real quick. I don't even know if y'all can still hear me. Let me know if you can still hear me in the chat. What's going on? We'll reload. Apologies. Oh, wants to use a pop-up? What, did it change the permissions on me? Come on, man. How do I change it? Ah, let's see. What happens if I change this to this? All right, so there I am on that one. What's wrong with the connection? Let's plug it back in and see what happens. Back. We back. Unmuted. I don't know what happened there, but whatever. My view good here. I got to refresh this too. Yeah, it looks right to me. All right, we back in business. Sorry about that, y'all. Anyways, like I was saying, last time I did this particular stretch or move, I felt that strain in my wrist. So we're going to take it easy through the movement, try to load it up smoothly so I don't feel any pain. That's going to be the thing. It's going to be the thing because I need the reps. I feel it a little bit coming on. So what I'll do, instead of going all the way, I'll stop here and at least get, oh, that's a good stretch too. Wow, even that's good. I just need to edge up the strain and the fight to keep myself from going back the other direction is tough. But I almost got my hips up over my palms while fighting the pain a little bit. So we're going to do that for the last 2 reps of this and save my wrist. It is not worth busting it up for a drill. All right. Now here's round 3. Like I said, we went 2 for 2 on the first 2. Got the full minute. This is third attempt right here. If we get the minute on this one, then we're in the clear. And then we're just going for bragging rights on the next 2. If I make it. So let's set the timer. Minute with 5 seconds to prep and get on the wall. And we'll see if we hold. Here we go. Let's go. That's 3. Kamikaze roll to get out, but made it. And I'll say, be careful coming down on those too, because if you come down too quick in the wrong direction, you could strain a wrist, you could fall on your head, mess up your neck. You ain't trying to do all that. That's another one. 3 minutes, 3 for 3. Now, pick and choose my spots. I think this is really a win because I've done this drill 5 minutes on with the goal of doing five handstand, a minute each with a little break in between. And I haven't done 3 out of 5 in a long time. So to be able to do that, despite feeling the strain on my wrist and a couple of these other wrist movements, I feel pretty good about that. It's a good sign for building the strength and just my wrists getting used to dealing with the pressure. That's going to be the biggest the biggest challenge. And this is another area that really exposes how much stretching is a benefit to your overall workout and your overall strength. And even the reason why I started, like we were talking with Caden the other day, about going all calisthenics instead of weighted for the most part, instead of what am I saying? We're still going to use weight on the squats and the leg exercises to overload. But this is the reason we were talking about going to calisthenics more, is because you never really think about the strength of your wrists when you're doing other movements, whether it's dumbbell curls, flat bench press, shoulder press. You're always thinking about the muscle that's directly correlated to the move. If it's a shoulder press, you're thinking about your shoulders. But here's the thing. If your wrist is stronger, you could probably hold more weight. So if you don't actually train your wrists, you're leaving some on the table. You're leaving some of your strength on the table because you can't tap into it because your wrists aren't strong enough. That's what I'm finding, is that I have the strength to bench 315. I have the strength to squat almost 400, to deadlift 405. But when it comes to balancing my hands, my weight is less than all of those major weight lifts. I weigh less than all of the ones that I can do at max, but I struggle more with this than I do with those. So it's a testament to how something so simple can have such a big impact without you even realizing it. If all I were to do is the big 3 of the lifts, then I could deceive myself into thinking I'm a lot stronger than I am. And that's exactly what I did going into my first year of gymnastics. So that's one of the reasons why this stuff is so valuable, so important. And kind of that reorientation of your mind, a perspective shift, is really beneficial when you think of weights, because it's those little things that enable you to do the bigger things better. Think about it. Even if it's like strengthening something like your wrists or your shoulders could give you 10% more than what you could at your max. If you're already at a 250 on the bench, that could be adding another 25 pounds, not by training your chest, but by training your wrists, your forearm strength, your grip strength. So it's something small, but it can have a huge impact. If you're at 300, you could be able to do 330. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it really stacks up. Think of wrist strength in particular and grip strength on the deadlift. How many times you see people using the wrist wraps so they don't let go of the bar? I would say, and it's just me, if you've seen the streams, you already know. I don't use straps and I don't use the weight belt because I want it to be me doing the weight. So if you want to get stronger with the grip, it's probably more beneficial to do less weight so you can grip it on your own, so you can strengthen your grip while you're doing it. And maybe even do some additional grip strengthening things on the side. But if you can do that, maybe your wrists and your grip will get strong enough that even if you can only lift, let's say, 100 pounds today, maybe you could really lift 140 with a stronger grip. Think about pull-ups. Most people's issue is not that they don't have the strength to perform a pull-up. Most people's issue is that they don't have the grip strength to stay on the bar long enough to do it. So you think about these things and how the little things have such a big impact. And it's like, shoot, man, I need to focus on these things a little more because they can make a world of a difference when it comes to doing more impressive things and having more control of your body. That's just my 2 cents. Back to dorsal. Still in control. Ooh, I feel that. Third set done. Minute and a half. We'll get to set number 4. Making good progress. Feeling good. Overall, feeling good. Get some water. I do have some like wrist tape or KT tape. I think tomorrow I'll wrap some on my wrist and see if that helps. It's going to be either that to help with the pain or just getting used to it and manning up. One or the other.
40 seconds. All right, there's the time, there's the clock. Back at it. I think the goal for this set, since this one and the handstand lean is where I've been feeling the little ping in my wrist, I want to try to really slow it down. And if I can get a little further away from the wall with my hips slowly, I need to get that position. It's the leaning forward. You see it with these two moves in particular. The slow down and the handstand lean is where my hands are really in this position there. So I want to work to get there and kind of just hold it slow and see if I can handle the pain from that position before going down. I don't want to lean and try to go down at the same time because I think that's where the injury risk is. All right, let's do this thing. Yep, right there. Right there. Just stay. That was better. Still went down quick. I think that was more preventative than anything else. But once I felt the pain in my wrist, and then just paused and stacked up my weight, my hip over my shoulders, and my hands, it went away. So it's really going to be, and I think the handstand lean is the perfect exercise to really work this. I need to just get comfortable. I just need to get comfortable in that position. That's all it comes down to, is I have to get comfortable in that position. So whether that's a lean, and I did see a variation of this where you're kind of leaning with your head and your shoulders up against the wall, so you can push with your feet. You can walk almost all the way up the wall. So I'm going to try that in the next 2 reps that I have of this workout and see how it feels. But I need to be able to get more time under tension in that position so I can get more comfortable with the wrist there and build up the strength there. Because that, out of everything that I'm doing right now, that's where I'm lacking the most right now. Hey, Slow Poke. Thanks for coming through again. Appreciate you. Hey, and I'm glad you find it helpful, and glad to hear that my voice is relaxing. It would be kind of weird if I was out here yelling and, I don't know, sound like some kind of parrot or something. All right. Back into the pancake. And with time, I really believe I'll be able to go all the way down. It's just a matter of time and reps. Flexibility gains do not come as quickly as muscle gains. So keep that in mind as you stretch. It may be painful initially, but the more you stick with it, the better you'll feel through it, not just after. But you'll feel better through the stretch and you'll see the progress.
and I haven't mentioned it yet, but of course, when you're going through these stretches, especially, work on your breathing. You don't want to have the choppy breath or staggered, really staggered breathing. Just calm it down. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Keep it simple. Slow it down. It's like one of the best ways to release the tension in your body through the stretch by breathing. So definitely can't take that for granted. All right, hip flexors before I get up. My favorite. Oh. Not as much cramping and tightness through that set. So that is a positive development. Let's see if I make it through this one without it though. Not bad. Slowpoke, you were lurking earlier, huh? Oh man, it'd be like that sometimes. I hear you though. This is what we do on Twitch. It's part of the way that it is. Oh, okay. What games do you play? You know, I understand that because something I noticed when I'm playing Fortnite, I can't, if it's just the audio from the game, I can't play it. Like it's hard to focus. It's easier to focus with like some background noise and not music. It's actually easier if it's somebody talking. So I don't know if that's the reason that you do that, but for me, I've definitely noticed a difference. If I have a YouTube video or something playing in the background, it's so much easier for me to focus and like slow down the game. But if it's music, whatever kind of music it is, I'm just too twitchy. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, let's get these quads first. Trying to skip steps out here.
I also don't know what it is about the stretching and the breathing exactly. It may have something to do with lactic acid buildup, but when you breathe in during your stretch, exhale as you try to sink more into the stretch, and it almost always makes it a better stretch. So try that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh shoot, you playing all kinds of stuff out here. The real question is, I see you got Fortnite in the list. So when are you gonna join us in Fortnite? That's the question. But I need something on in the background. I can't play the game just by itself. That for some reason, I just can't do it. Nice. It's getting better. Feeling good. Hey, if we're being real, how many of us out here actually like super nice with it though? Most of us are. We play for fun. We play for fun, so you'll fit right in with us. I can promise you that. All right, here's a variation of this next one. I'm going to try setting up a little bit away from the wall and leaning my head and my shoulders against it, and then trying to walk up to the wall. Yeah, so I can get into the correct position without overloading the wrists. That's the goal. So about here. Is that going to be good? Yeah, actually, that might be good. Head and shoulders, and then just walk up. You can't load up the wrists as much, but I can get more to this compressed position faster. Oh, and if I go up to my tippy toes, I stretch a little bit more. That might be the look. Oh, there it was. And coming down, I definitely felt that. Whew, got a little lightheaded. Slowpoke, send your username. I'm gonna add you later. You can run with us. We'll have some fun. All right, that was the handstand lean. A good variation to get more of a stretch. Yeah, that loosens up the lower back quite nicely, actually. But now we go back into the fourth round.
Since I'm a little bit compromised on these ones where my wrists are bending and overextending, where I need to stretch a little bit more, get more comfortable, I'm going to really focus on getting the minute here. Now we chasing the goal. I've gotten 3 for 3, the full minute each. I want to try to get 4 for 4, one at a time. I don't want to count the chickens before they're hatched, but I'm going to try to get a really solid minute in this rep here. And hopefully there's no pain, but if there is, I'm going to try to adjust on the fly so I can keep the streak alive. All right, here we go. Set up for the time, set up for the clock. 5 seconds to prep, 1 minute on the wall. Let's go. Yep, there it is. Just settle. Come on. Yes. Right on time. That's 4 for 4. We'll take it. It's good progress. For being the first workout really in the last week, I'm actually pretty happy despite the little injuries and the little soreness in the wrist, the tightness in the wrist I'm dealing with. So I'll take it. All right, that's what's up. Slowpoke, you about to be live on the stream with us too. We're gonna have some fun. It's funny. Probably the thing I like best about the streaming is the people you get to connect with. I can't remember when I first started. It's probably been 5 or 6 years now. Maybe 4 or 5 years. But a couple of the people that I still play with today, most, I met them on Twitch. And it's cool. You'd never expect something like that to be able to connect with people in that kind of a way. It's probably the only platform that I've ever used where people I don't know, I've developed a kind of friendship with. Like Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Snapchat, whatever else is out there, like TikTok. I connect with people I know with those. But this is one of the spaces where you get up on a live stream, you put something out, and people respond and they actually join in with you with the thing that you're doing. So it's to me, it's more of a way to connect to people than I expected it to be. And especially more than I guess I connect more with people doing this that I don't know and that I haven't met in person than a lot of times the people that I do know from personal connections with other social media. So it's really interesting in that regard. Ooh, I feel that. Wow. Trying to mix up the order a little bit. Wrist popping. Fingers cracking. We switch the order up. A little muscle confusion, little wrist confusion. Go reverse. I'm not gonna lie, this wrist stretch, probably out of all of them, might be one that feels the most relieving if you can do it without overstraining yourself. Yeah, your forearms, man, they're getting there. What was that? Dorsal. Go wrist rockers first. We'll go fingertip push-ups. Nice and easy. And then we'll do this one. Need to find out what this one was called. But this is definitely the one where you feel, and I mean the forearms are facing you, so you see it. Maybe for the last set, I'll bring the camera down here for the close up. It's good stuff. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. 2019. That's what I'm talking about. It's so strange because you'd never expect it, but I mean, it's a space that lends itself to that. And I don't peruse Twitch a lot, so I don't know like a lot of the big streamers and kind of the personalities that are in the space. But Instagram, I think it started out more communal, like more community friendly. And then it became like just people trying to show the best pictures and the best of this and the best of that. So, in a sense, it kind of became a little bit more fake. And you had people kind of pursuing and following more surface level type of people instead of people that they know, and engaging more with those types of people. TikTok, it's like, well, what's the next dance, or what's the next crazy thing that somebody's doing that you can replicate or copy? And I've seen a lot of really ridiculous stuff that people will be just eaten up on TikTok. And like I said, I'm not as familiar with Twitch, so I don't really know what's out there, but I'm sure there are some people like that here too. But what I'm getting at is those other platforms, because of kind of how they cater to people, they don't generate the kind of, it's social media, but they don't generate social connection, if that makes sense. And at least for what I've found with the few people that I've been able to connect with on Twitch, is that it does seem to generate more of a social connection with people. So it's interesting. Some random ruminations on that. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't even know who they are. I do know there's one guy, I watch his streams on YouTube, and I think he streams on Twitch too. But it's because of Fortnite prospering.
I follow him and I watch some of his stuff, but yeah, it's not because he's a big streamer. It's just because I like the game and he's good at it, and he's mad chill when he plays. So that's kind of how I like to have my vibe be. All right, fifth set, final set. We're gonna try to get this thing done. Feeling pretty good. Hour and a half in. One more set through of this right here, and then we move over to get my 5 sets of the planche tuck because I have yet to do that. Let's get to it. You know what? I got to get a little glitch mob on in the background too, because I need my vibes. I need my jams. The glitch mob, I'm not really sure how I first got into them. I think the first song I heard from them, actually, yeah, that was in 2015. I was out in Palau. I was a student missionary that year. And one of the girls who came out, who was a missionary, was always making different videos, highlight reels of different trips that we would do. And in the songs that she would play in as background music for her videos, one of the songs was a Glitch Mob song, and we would trade music and stuff. Everybody's trying to see what's cool, what's up, and I was like, "Oh, this vibe, I like it." So the Glitch Mob became like my favorite alternative kind of group out there, and yeah, I've listened to a lot of them over over the last few years. But it's interesting because if you know the Glitch Mob, if you heard them, they can get kind of wild, but it doesn't really reflect who I am as a person. In fact, I don't know, it's weird. I like all kinds of music, to be honest, maybe except country, but different folks, different strokes. Anyways, let me stop talking and get to work. Hips, find the pain spot, lean, slow. Yep. Fifth one, best one. I'll take it. Sit back in this straddle, stretch. And don't forget to breathe. It's the hardest thing to do in that move because it's like, oh, you feel the pain. But it gets better. I promise. All right. That's the slow. One last time through these leg stretch paces. Yes. This song, it's a mashup. Let me back up. The Glitch Mob has done several albums over the years, but this particular song I'm listening to now, or that's playing in the background right now, it's from their album called Revisions, which is a mashup album of their own music. So what's cool about it is, one, by listening to the album, I got exposed to a lot more of their catalog that I wasn't familiar with before. And two, they do a really good job of making an album experience where you start listening to the first song
and everything blends into the next song. So 20 songs later, you're still on the same album, still vibing, and you don't even realize what happened. But the cool thing about this one, it's a mashup of two of their songs, Animus Vox and How Do I Get to Invincible. And the chorus of the song is, all of my flaws make me out to perfection. And I love that line because it's counter cultural to what we think, right? Everyone thinks that for us to be perfect, we have to be perfect across the board. But it's a reality that when we fail, we're establishing the building blocks that will make us stronger and better. I don't believe that it's possible to truly succeed unless you have failed before, because you won't know what it looks like. Think of Thomas Edison and how many failed attempts it took for him to get to a successful light bulb. But what did he say? He didn't fail that many times. He succeeded in finding this many ways that this didn't work. Or Abraham Lincoln, and how many times that he ran for public office and how many times he was shut down just to become one of the most beloved presidents of the United States. So failure is key to success. And I'll also throw in that I think failure is a qualifier for success. What do I mean by that? I think that if you get success without having to work for it, or if you didn't earn it, then you wield your success in an unhealthy way. But I think, and it's not a perfect one-to-one comparison, but I think that for people who have failed a lot, the understanding and the learning that comes from that process makes them handle success better. Right? And it's funny because it's the first thing that pops into my mind. I wasn't even trying to think about it. You think of the GOAT debate in basketball, and a lot of people try to say, well, it's only Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Whatever side you're on, I'll say this. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. He had things said about him and what he was incapable of doing on the high school level. He didn't start for his college team initially. There was a lot of work that he had to do to get to the point of where he was, just to be a third pick in the NBA draft. And look what he was able to make out of himself in his career. But not only that, look at how he carried himself by never referring to himself as the greatest player of all time and always giving credit to the people before that. I feel like his failures and his struggles were part of what enabled him to have that perspective when he succeeded. And in fact, there's a popular commercial that he does where he talks about all the missed shots that he had, all the turnovers, all these other things negative about his experience. And the last line of the commercial is, and that's why I succeed. The failure defined the success for him. It led him to the success, but it also gave him a healthy perspective on his own success and how he carried himself and projected himself within that success. Even to the point now where we barely hear him say anything about anybody. He's doing his own thing. He's living his best life. But on the contrary, you look at somebody like LeBron James, who I'll admit I am a hater of, so there's a bias. But this is a kid who, granted, was just a kid, but had the chosen one tattooed on him in high school, going into the NBA draft. Front page of Sports Illustrated magazine, all this hype, being crowned as the next whatever from day one. And then you look at how, if he wins, he takes all the credit for himself. That one right there made me the greatest of all time. But if he loses, it's always somebody else's fault and he can't take accountability. Because he was given, in my mind, because he experienced success kind of given to him on a silver platter, he's struggled to deal with failure. And because he hasn't had a good experience with failure, it makes his perspective and his portrayal of himself through his success a little bit unbearable. He doesn't give credit to the people who came beforehand. He wants to be better than them. And he wants to inflate his own accomplishments, not by the nature of the things that he's actually accomplished, but in the deflation of the people before him. We done with the 90s. You heard of that before? Oh, well, a lot of that has to do with him and his narrative. So, yeah, all of that to say, that's a whole different discussion for another time. Maybe I will do a stream on that because I think that would be really interesting. And maybe I'll get one of my buddies on to do it with too, because he's a LeBron stan. Yes, and I'm talking about you. But all of that to say, I do feel like failure has a real place in the discussion for success. And I think that's important because we all fail. And if we understand that it has a good place in our success, then I think it sets us up better to respond from failure. It's not easy to, but if we understand the part that it plays in our success, I think we would be more willing to fail and to admit that we failed because we can put it in its proper perspective. Failure doesn't have to be the end of us. It doesn't have to be like the destruction of us. So we don't have to run from it and we don't have to hide from it. But if we embrace it, we can become better than we ever were before. So those are my thoughts. Let me get back to my workout, man. I got stuff to do. All right, Slowpoke. Thanks for coming through. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm gonna send that invite. So tonight you'll see it, and maybe we'll get a chance to run tonight. All right, let's do this. I think I did those. Nope, I need another split, but I need more quads. I need it all. Start with the flexors. Out here talking more than I thought I would. But that's okay. Now that'll be the real challenge. Right now, you see my staggered step. My front leg is not. My front leg is not in line with my hips relative to my knee against the wall. It's like way out. So if I can bring it in, but that's going to be pending on the flexibility. If I get better and more flexible through the quad, then I can line up my legs more and be more square instead of that super awkward position. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. Final rep with the split. See what we got going on here. I can't wait to get the roller because my hamstrings have been a little tight for a while, despite the stretching. So I think not only would a massage help, but I need something to target the deeper tissues because that's what it is. But this is not bad. For left leg split, this isn't terrible. That's my worst one for sure. And now that I say that, we'll see if the right leg can do any better. Should. Yeah, I think so. Less strain, I can sit down into it more. Still got plenty of work to do, but that's okay. That's the nature of the beast. Not bad. All right, so there's the legs. Go to handstand lean. We'll do this one up against the wall again. I was about this far out. Turn my wrists out just for the stretch. So this position right here, with a little bit more forward lean, there's a flexibility issue here too. I need to be able to get my feet this close to my hands in this position and then extend. And funny enough, I do feel my lower back stretching in a way. That's going to be the one. Oh, that's good stuff. Two things I felt there. One, my lower back is getting a stretch in that position that I didn't get in the pancake and that I didn't get from, what was the other one I did? From the QL stretch. And then two, being in the position and able to lean forward into it means I can control how much weight is on my wrists while getting into the compressed position that I need to be in. So that's the win. And I think that's going to be the level up for this movement here. Because if I'm just trying to kick my feet into it, I can't get the time under tension to get comfortable. But if I keep doing it this way, I'll be able to work both the flexibility, the positioning I need for the move, loosening up my lower back more to do what it needs to do in that position. And I'll be able to apply more stress to my wrists in a more controlled way. So this is good. Yeah, this is good. The last few reps, I was already able to kind of support my weight over my hands, but it's going to be hard to press from that position because I have to lean so far over my wrists. So if I can get stronger in that more compressed position, it'll save my wrists some pain because I won't have to extend so far over them, which means overall the press will be easier. I'll get more flexible and I'll be stronger in a less compromisable position. That's a lot. But it's about little things that make a big difference, right? So taking what looks like a step back to be more patient in building the flexibility on this move is going to translate when I start going to my hands and I can be in that pancake position so my arms can be straight instead of leaning so far over and putting such a strain on my wrists. So I like that. Got to take a note of that. All right. All that said, we're here down to the last rep of the handstand. And so far, I'm 4 for 4. I need to get this last one here. If I do, this might be, well, it'll definitely be the first time in at least 7 or 8 years, maybe 7 years, that I've gone 5 for 5. I think I did it maybe once, way back in the day when I was practicing with one of my boys out in the islands. But this is the one right here. So we're going to get a little bit loose. We're already loose. We're going to finish this thing strong. 1 minute. 1 minute. 5 seconds to get set. We're going to make this thing happen. It's for all the cookies right here. Let's go. Come on. Yes. 5 for 5, baby. Let's go. Long time coming, but the reps are paying off. The shoulder strength is there. So I got to catch my wrists up to the party. But this is exciting because it's nice to be able to measure at least the strength in one area and know that I'm this close. If I get my wrist strong enough, and I think that handstand lean against the wall, I think that's where the key. I need to unlock that right there. Because if I can develop the strength in that compressed position, I'll have what I need. The strength in my shoulders is there. I need the flexibility so I can build the strength to press up. Yeah, that's the foundation. So that's the move. That's the move right there. All right, one more time for the wrists. And if you've been tuned into the stream, you know that Caden, that's my guy. We work out a lot together. And he's former military. I'm trying to be military here soon. Good dude, man. Real good dude. He just texted me a little bit ago that he went to the open gym at the school, which is the gym that you've seen us working out in before, our gymnastics facility. But he needed to come down. He wanted to work out together because that's where the energy is. And I agree. Like, this is fun, being able to talk with y'all here. I have a lot more time to talk and break things down that I wouldn't normally talk about if I was with somebody else. But the pace is a lot faster. I'm looking at my watch here, and I'm at about 155. Let me see. What are we at? Yeah, 155. So it's about 2 hours. And this is a workout that 5 sets I should have finished in an hour and a half. But we're going to get it tomorrow. We'll be able to get it tomorrow. But these wrists, yeah, they're worked. But I'm excited. I know what I need to do. Starting with showing up. And that we will. Finishing up with these wrists. I'll go do the planche in the back later. I'm not going to bother recording that because it's all the way over there. And I don't want to have to edit the stream, so I need to cut it before it gets to 2 hours. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you tomorrow. We out here. Peace.